Greetings friends, Reformed Stoic, back with another video. Maybe something a little bit more people can vibe with on my channel. I wanted to cover the topic of the damage has already been done. In terms of young men despondent with the state of society in the West, problems in the United States specifically, that's where I live, that's what I've experienced. Problems with men fitting into society, maybe being outcasted because of their political worldview, or just the general state of hypergamy, all of this kind of stuff. The damage has been done. And I guess this is kind of like a prediction video as well. Moving forward with where society is maybe headed, I think the current regime is thinking that all of these problems are getting fixed. The end of wokeness is here, and we're headed towards like a golden age for young men, maybe thinking young white men in the United States. And all right, everybody, everything's fixed, everything's back to normal. Let's all go back to work, get married, have families. Everything's okay. Well, on top of the fact that not all the problems are going to be fixed, like hypergamy, which would be really funny to see the government try to address that. But, there's a lot of people out there that think the issue is just men aren't really making enough money. A lot of people are trying to double down that the real problem is that men don't have enough money to have relationships. Like, they're living at home and that kind of thing. But even if it really is the end of wokeness, which is not, the country is completely divided in half. And in terms of like education, nothing's going to change in the universities, I can tell you that much. The universities are probably more militant than ever, and Trump supporters are probably being tarred and feathered and hunted down. Just as always, the universities is their playground, that's their operation. But what we have here is a lot of men who have spent the prime years of their life ostracized, not fitting in, not belonging, and the damage is already done. Oh yeah, great, come back to university, come back to the workplace. I mean, I'm 34 years old. I think my life story, my life experience is a little bit unique. But all in all, it is safe to say that a lot of the falling outs that I had started with political issues. It was because of my forming right-wing worldview. And then just the fact that, just pretty much I feel like everybody I knew at that time was a raging leftist, and they had this mentality of tar and feather and cancel anyone who's not one of us, one of us, one of us. But, yeah, I mean, for me, the magical time when everything just started to kind of go to shit was around 2014. Well, that was the beginning of it. But yeah, it was a little bit of a slow process to start. But yeah, 2014 that's around the time of the Ferguson riots, I think Trayvon Martin, Black Lives Matter. So that was kind of foreboding of what was to come. when Trump ran for president. And that's where it all kind of started. So 2014, that's 10, 11 years ago now. 11 years, a lot of people, when I'm on like threads talking about when was the shift, when was the cultural shift in the United States and the West, the date that people tend to agree on is 2008. That was the economic crisis, the recession, the March on Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street, that was 2011, I believe. But, you have a number of different dates. The one that people really seem to agree on was 2007, 2008. Some people say 2012. They tie it into the end of the Mayan calendar. Like, oh, maybe the world really did end in 2012. And I think there's something to that. Or, I consider that there's something to that. It's like, wow, that's weird. A lot of people thought maybe the world was going to end in 2012. And, my life was still in an all right spot. But, yeah, socially, I don't know. I just think 2012, that could be a contender. 2008, 2012, 2014, 2016. The point is, and we're not going to go on and on and on with this one. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. For reals. For reals. Just want to get something out there, try to keep the gravy train rolling. The damage is already done. Let's say 2014, that's 11 years. People who are around my age, give or take 3 to 5 years, more or less, just the question is, how old were you around 2014? I was about 24. I graduated high school in 2009. If you rotted away through your 20s, for some people it started earlier, like around 18. I guess I was lucky that I had some fun in my early 20s. I had some fun in my early 20s. I had fun in high school. Sometimes I tell people that I didn't. I didn't really have that much fun with women, but I had a little bit. Every now and then, once in a blue moon, I got lucky in my early 20s, and some people didn't get anything, man. And the last thing I'd want to do is rub it in. But when this shit started, when this political chain reaction of just losing friends and becoming isolated, and fucking university was just not a good experience for me the second time around. The first time around, I went to a private music school and started a little bit slow, but I had a lot in common with people around. Surrounded by talented musicians, surrounded by a lot of people that thought they were going somewhere in life, and some of them did, some of them not so much. Overall, I feel like a lot of people just... Sometimes I feel like the people who made it a long time ago, Like maybe overall less people have made it in my generation and younger generations, but yeah, you got your Zoomer influencers and whatever, but anyway, I guess I don't have all that much to say about this. It's just my prediction for kind of how this regime is thinking right now is we're fixing everything, guys. Woke is dead. Let's all come back to society. Let's get jobs. Let's get married. Let's have families. Everything's back to normal. And even if that's the case, which is not, what I'd really like to see improve is the economy. I still see testimonies all the time. People saying, the problem is that I have a full-time job it's not even just an entry level minimum wage job, or maybe it's more of an entry level job, but it's more than minimum wage, and I can't afford a house. I can't afford to not live at home with my parents. That's the problem for a lot of people. A lot of people are doing like what people say I should be doing, and they're just not really getting anywhere, which is maybe part of the reason that I don't really feel it's especially important to do it, especially because I have put so much time and effort into trying to do creative things and music ventures where it's like, hey, you know what? I might as well just keep trying to do that, because the most worth it thing that could ever happen in my life is for that to work out. Fingers crossed, Juddies. Yeah. The damage is done. It's a big deal to rot away in your 20s. And I think everybody knows what I mean by rot away. I think that's something that people rot away. I mean, are we literally rotting? Like, is your skin falling off of your bones? It's funny, when I was rotting away, I took better care of myself than I ever have in my life. When I had friends and a social life, I think I got alcohol poisoning multiple times. There was 2 occasions where I got so drunk that I spent the next morning like throwing up every half an hour. I'd throw up and then drink a bunch of water and lay on the ground and then throw up again, and like I couldn't stop throwing up, and it was definitely like alcohol poisoning. That happened like 3 times. So yeah, when I wasn't rotting away, I was killing myself with alcohol, smoking myself dumb with marijuana, and experimenting with psychedelics and whatnot. But I had some fun. I had a social life. Sometimes I feel like I don't emphasize that enough, but it doesn't matter. It's not a competition. But yeah, when I was rotting away, I got off all drugs eventually, stopped drinking. I stopped drinking in like 2014 for the most part, 2014, 2015. But yeah, running away in concept is just you're not living. You feel like you're missing out. And when that feeling has extended for 5 to 10 years, I mean, 5 years, you might be all right. But for me, I haven't really been a part of the world for about 10 years. I tried many things, but and it's not all about me. I think that a lot of men have experienced this. And, you know, if things got like really entrepreneurial feeling, I don't know why I said that. I was pausing trying to think of the right word, so I just said something. If things got to a place where like they had like this whole new entry level position for like anybody, it's like, hey man, just come to work, here's a job that anybody can get, and it's a good paying job, and it's not viewed as like a low status thing, and it's fun, and everybody's coming back to work. I mean, if they had some sort of a reasonable idea to kickstart all the chuds leaving their caves and coming back to society, I mean, I'm sure a lot of men would consider it. But overall, it's just boomers ready to crack whips. It's like, come on, everybody, back to work. And a lot of guys, I feel like they've missed the prime of their life. You know, because society's been ruined with this social cancer of radical far leftism and then also hypergamy. But it's sad for me because I feel like I started becoming more attractive. I started becoming more attractive, in better shape. I gained a lot of weight. Like when I moved to Vegas, I gained like 30 pounds and then started slimming down. And I'm not as lean as I was once upon a time, but I definitely put on some muscle. And I don't know, man. Maybe if I had a thriving social life, maybe I would have started doing better with women. But right around the time that happened, I completely lost all social connection to anything. And that has extended for a very long period of my life. And I personally haven't lost hope that something could work out for me, but yeah, it's not going to be like returning to society. It's going to be doing what I'm doing, hoping that maybe something takes off at some point. That's what I got for you guys right now. Until next time, God bless.